I'm Stephen Mowry.
This is John Fish.
I'm George Griffin.
I'm Michael Davis.
Hey everybody, this is Island Fight CEO Dean.
Hello, world. What's up, everyone? This is Dave from the Fight Bananas podcast. How's everyone doing out there today? All right. Here we go. Today's episode will be an Island Fight 60 recap with one of the featured fights of the night and soon-to-be bona fide superstar, Askar Askar. Undefeated bantamweight, going to very soon UFC bound, PFL bound, one championship bound. Askar Askar is a bantamweight to definitely keep your eye on. I'm telling you, big superstar potential in him. But what a great night, guys. The main event was fantastic. Jacob Killer Kilburn, I talked to him this morning. He's going to be on the show very, very soon. Walk-off knockout to Javanius Ross. But, man, we see things a lot of people don't see. I put up that picture on my social media platforms at David Van Auken. Follow me anywhere and everywhere. Javanius Ross and Kilburn, after the fight, had a ton of respect for each other. They took a picture together. Ross was awesome. He goes, hey, I got caught, and it is what it is. Kilburn is next, the Waymaker, I call him. Huge superstar as well. Also, guys, how about the co-main event? Jared Night Train Gooden on the Fight Bananas podcast as well last week submitted Marcel Swift Stamps mid-second round, but what a great fight. That was a war. Those men were throwing heavy shots, body shots, kicks. Great fight. Hats off, Jared Gooden and Marcel Stamps. Also, in the heavyweight division, split decision, Beast Boy Barnett. Chris Barnett pulls it off, the veteran, been around the game. He was awesome. He hung out with us at the Fight Bananas community at the Dean Tool Promotion show when he had that great matchup with Yoel Romero. But he beat Rashawn Jackson in a split decision. Rashawn came right after us after the fight and said, damn, I want the rematch. He wants it again. So we'll see what happens there. Last but not least, right before we get to Askar Askar, Chase Boutwell. Wow. American top team, Coconut Creek, Georgian native. What a huge prospect he is. He had a slam to all you wrestling fans out there. He looked like Kurt freaking Angle. So Chase Boutwell, superstar, right in front of our eyes. Big fan of his. He'll be on the show as well very soon. But right now, guys, you know what we do. We don't want to waste your time or mine. Let's go bananas with Askar Askar. All right, guys, on the Fight Bananas hotline, Askar Askar, how are you doing, my man?
I'm very good, actually. How are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. In the building, Columbus, Georgia, last Thursday night, Island Fight 60 on UFC Fight Pass. Man, staying undefeated. How did you feel your performance was? And, we'll take it from there.
You said one more time, you said my performance?
Yeah. How did you, because after the fight, you told Dean Thomas you weren't really happy. You saw that you said that you didn't see counters that you would like to maybe counter a little bit better. But man, a win's a win. You're right there. We talked about it too. You're right there. You might be a fight away, if that. But how did you take your performance now a week later?
I'll tell you the truth. It's I watched it over 1,000 times. It's a 3-minute video. You know what I mean? So it was quick. So I got to watch it a couple times. My performance, I stand by what I said that night. It's I should have been countering more. I wanted it to make it obviously every fight. We start on a feet, so I wanted it to be a little bit more of a stand-up fight. I haven't been there in a year. I had a few fight cancellations before, so I was focused on just getting in there and again, you know what I mean, and put on a performance. But things don't play out. What's his name? Albert. He was a little freaking energy ball. He just wanted to come forward. I felt like he knew he had nothing really to lose, so he was just in there just swinging in my direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was one of those where he's like, I'm just gonna throw it at him. If it's gonna hit him, it's gonna hit him. And his dumb lefts landed a couple times. They touched me up a couple times. So I was like, you know what? I'll break distance. If I can break distance, I'll get it. If I can't, I'll try to slip out the way and counter. I broke distance first. I got to fight to the ground. Once I felt my strength advantage, I'm like, I'm not wasting any time. I'm gonna try to get a quick finish. I know that's what they like.
Right, and you are right. It was quick. As soon as that fight got to the ground, you and Albert, boom, it was over. You had the man's neck. It was done. Actually saw Albert after the fight. We went out afterwards and we saw him. And you're kind of right. He had that exuberance off of him. He felt like he was in a no-lose situation. Hey, you're undefeated. You're the name. Before the fight, you had a lot of buzz coming into this fight. I do want to ask you, why was there a couple cancellations?
So here's the thing. Every time I would have a fight, let's say the fight would get canceled 2 weeks before, or a week before, something would happen to the opponent, they would keep his name on there even though they replaced it with a new person. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
So I was supposed to fight Jimmy Walker. All of a sudden, Jimmy Walker got injured. They gave me some new kid. They put Jimmy Walker as a cancellation. I'm like, why would you guys keep that on there if that one wasn't really, you know what I mean?
Right.
In my hand. And they're like, that's how it works. If the name was supposed to be matched with you, the name was supposed to be matched with you. I didn't know I was supposed to have a pro debut 4 times in a row before they freaking, you know what I mean? Before they were like, okay, this is your pro debut. I'm like, where did all those other names come from? Like, why were people just putting, you know what I mean? Matchmakers were just putting my name into the hat or something.
Right. My man, well, at least, with my expertise, and I don't know about you, you got the right matchmaker this time. Dean Toole, Island Fights Promotion. How was the whole week? For one, we'll talk about the weigh-ins, the melee there. That was just crazy. It was bananas. It was like, wow. But how did you like fighting for the Island Fights banner on UFC Fight Pass?
Yeah, I loved it, honestly. It was a good time. I'm from Chicago, so I've seen Island Fights online, and on Fight Pass and stuff. And obviously, the number one question you get is, man, I wonder how it feels like fighting in that ring. I got to do that. I got to fight in that ring and experience that. That it made me feel like we were in Pride. It would have been cool if we were able to stomp and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was cool. The ring was cool. It was a little different, and the whole setup of the whole arena was awesome. Island Fights was awesome. The whole week leading up to it was smooth. I had my coaches with me. You know what I mean? We were out a few days before. We got an Airbnb down the street from the venue, so that was nice. It wasn't too far of a drive. So yeah, it was a good week. I love Island Fights. Hopefully, if nothing happens in terms of a big show, I go back down there and I fight again.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think maybe one more, if that.
Yes, sir.
And, the last year, and I know you watch your stuff, Dean Toole is putting Island Fight fighters into the UFC. Michael Davis, who just had a tremendous win this last weekend at UFC Tampa. Phil Rose in the UFC now. Brock Weaver's in the UFC. Anna Goldie's in the UFC. Just in the last year, Impa was one of the highlights of a Dana White Contender Series. So you're in the right spot, my man. You really are undefeated. You have a great... I loved watching you fight. So that's, if Uncle Dana gives us a call and be like, hey, Askar Askar is it. Undefeated. You have a great fighting style by you. You can communicate. I think you're UFC bound, my man.
My man, thank you so much. That means a lot. I love hearing positive reinforcement. It feeds the soul.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you deserve it. You really do. I'm not just blowing smoke. You really do. Real quick, if we can, touch into that. What did you think of the weigh-ins? That was crazy.
Oh, man. So I was so confused. Listen, my weigh-ins I'm happy.
Right.
We made weight.
Right.
Well, let's eat and chillax and, you know what I mean, celebrate and, face off and look tough and stuff. Obviously, the face-offs always confuse me because I'm just like, why are we facing off? I'm like, we're going to fight tomorrow. But, it's all for the hype, so people could see it.
Right.
And all that good stuff. So it's all good, you know what I mean? It confused me. I thought just be like, weigh in, okay, then fight. Almost maybe same day win. That'll eliminate weight cutting. Forget about the dumb face-offs. Weigh in the day of the fight and just have us fight, you know what I mean?
Oh.
That way we'll be forced into having the right weight classes, but
100% agree. 100% agree. I love that so much, and me just being so many fans of all the fighters, I wish almost all the fighters would be maybe even a weight class above.
Yeah, I won't be mad at that.
Right, like this, the weight cuts, it's longevity of your career, and man, I never want to see you. That's every fighter. Everyone's like, hey, what's the worst part?
It's the wrestling mentality. It's the wrestler's mentality. You know what I mean? These guys over here want to freaking wrestle and keep the weight cut thing going. So it's forced MMA's hand to do that. You know what I mean? So because we get so much of them that come over here.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
But that's what it is. It's whatever. You know what I mean? The weigh-ins we got it done. We were all weighing in. Say the truth, I didn't understand what that guy's gimmick was. I saw him walking around with the bathrobe.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. I'm like, you're that. That's how rough the weight cut's going. That you're walking around with a bathrobe, you know. I mean, you don't got clothes on. So that's what I associated with. I was like, maybe this guy's going through it, and he has to just put on a bathrobe. That's what makes him happy. So you know what I mean. Let him be happy. And then he threw the bathrobe at the guy. You know, tell the truth. Here's the thing. Somebody throws a bathrobe at you, I get you. Disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. You know, it sucks. Take care of him tomorrow. Fuck him up tomorrow. His friend came out of nowhere. Wasn't needed. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Even if the dude, you know what, like the dude threw it, yes, the dude definitely should get slapped across the face. But I don't know about getting jumped. Like, that was so extreme. His friend came out of nowhere and jumped to hit him midair and all that stuff. It was kind of weird.
It was. And I don't want to agree with you the whole time, but I am. It's you out of everyone in the world. If I walk around the streets, if you see me at a Best Buy, if I'm at a football game and I do that, if you do that to another man, you get arrested. You guys, out of everyone, that's why I envy sometimes the fighters so much. You guys tomorrow, Devin Polk has the opportunity to put that man down like Jorge Masvidal to Ben Askar.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You have the opportunity as well. It's controlled violence.
Exactly.
I don't know if you ever had a crazy beef with a fighter. Usually, everything I hear by the fighters, they would rather not have a beef against your opponent. They would rather kind of have that, mental freedom in a way. But if those two men had the shot tomorrow, and yeah, man, I don't want to get anything thrown in my face as well, but it's like, man, that fight could have really easily been pulled, and for you not to get that.
I'm surprised it wasn't. Like, I don't know how, you know what I mean? I was sitting there, so when the fight happened, I was, if you see the camera, I was about to jump in and like try to separate them, and then the flash went through my head where I was like, wait, don't touch them. This is irrelevant. I'm gonna let them destroy each other. I'm not trying to get hurt. You know what I mean? I don't want the commission to pull me over like something dumb.
Yeah.
You know, like the day of the fight when we were coming back from the weigh-ins, I had a little incident with my finger. You know what I mean? Where I was like, I bumped it, and I was, I got it. You know, you got to be careful fight week. You got to make sure you're healthy and everything's good. You know?
Yeah. You got it more. Physically and mentally, you don't want to go into that fight and be like, man, my finger's not right or my body's not right.
Yeah.
Wait,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm looking at these guys destroy each other, and then as soon as they were done, he was significantly opened up, like he was bleeding, and his face I don't know if he got stitches or he glued it up, but he had an open cut. And I was like, no way the fight happens. And then the next day I'm at the venue and the kid shows up and he's there. He's walking around with his chest up. And I was like, oh man, let's go. I'm definitely tuned into that one. I'm like, let's go.
That's what Island Fights does. They know how to matchmake, and I give the man credit. He did pull out the victory, a submission armbar victory. Looked great. So I give Brian Penzindo a lot of credit. I don't love what he did to Dean Thomas. I'm a Dean Thomas guy. I'm not a big fan of that, but it is what it is.
Dean Thomas is the man. You know what I mean? I said that in my interview. Dean Thomas is the man. One thing I would have liked is maybe if me and him had a conversation before the fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to be on the same page. I felt like me and him were. When you don't really speak, most of these local fights, if you don't know the commentator, like when I fight in my hometown, when I'm here in the Midwest, when I fight in the Midwest, I know the commentators. We have, I don't want to say a personal relationship, but you know the community in your,
for sure.
the MMA community in your area. And I'm not really from Florida or from Columbus, so it's like I don't really see Dean that often. So I felt like, I don't know, he was just coming at me a little bit in the what's called commentary for the fight.
Oh, okay. We'll change that the next time, man. I'm telling you, Dean Thomas is a trailblazer, an all-timer. So we'll definitely. Hey, next Island Fights, we'll all get lunch. Dean, Askar, and Fight Pass. We'll make that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
But on the I do want to hear about like your origin story. Big comic book guy. I love the movies, Avengers, and all that. So I'm always into the origin. How did you get into this crazy game of mixed martial arts, and how did you get like, yep, I'm going to take a fight, I'm taking one, and see what happens from there? I would love to hear your origin story.
To tell you the truth, MMA started when I stumbled on watching MMA on TV. You know what I mean? I was very young. I was in high school. I think it was like freshman or sophomore year, or maybe even 8th grade. I was young, and I remember bullying. Bullying is always a big thing. It doesn't matter how old you are. You know what I mean? You could be
Sure.
10, you could be 30. Bullying is a thing with everybody, you know? You're always going to be, especially if you're not the biggest guy in the room, you know what I mean? And I'm not built to be the biggest guy in the room. I'm built to be a 135-pound, fighter. You know, so, I don't know. It's like, when I was young, I needed I needed self-defense for bullying. Sorry. I needed self-defense for bullying, and then stumbling on the fights on TV, watching GSP back in the day, and Anderson Silva and the old Ultimate Fighters and Forrest Griffin and Bonner and all that. You know, it was like a whirlwind experience. You vaguely remember your childhood or you remember parts of your childhood, but I just remember falling in love one day, and next thing I know, I'm working out every day towards a goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went to the gym. I ended up meeting a trainer. And he was like, I want you to fight. And I'm like, you know what? I want to fight too. I'm like, forget everything else. And the crazy thing is, martial arts, I felt like it put more of a peace into my mind, you know? Like, it calmed me down. It was like more like the outside life stuff doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That extra stuff.
Wow.
All that matters is being a better martial artist, being a better fighter. You know what I mean? Having a healthier body, living a healthier lifestyle. And, and honestly, I fell in love with that life too.
Man, I love this.
Just
sir.
That life of just worrying about my physical body every day and my mental mind, and it's a grind and it's awesome. I love living the life I live.
Man, that's awesome. Askar, congratulations, winner, Island Fight 60, an undefeated bantamweight. So excited for what's next for you. It's bigger and badder things ahead of you. Maybe one last fight for Island Fights. If not, it's UFC, it's PFL, it's Bellator. It's my man. You got to get paid. Askar deserves the paycheck, my guy. So definitely follow him on all social media platforms. I'll give you the floor. The floor is yours. Any last words or sponsor plugs or anyone to thankful? Anything you want, my man.
My social media is AKMMA94 on Twitter and Instagram, and then Askar Askar on Facebook. I want to thank everybody that supports me, you know what I mean? My teammates, all my family, my friends, and not really any sponsor plugs yet. I'm going to just wait until I get that Reebok deal, and we'll be good.
There you go, my man. Askar, have a great day. We appreciate you. Congratulations on your win. We'll talk to you real soon.
My man, thank you.
All right. There we have it. Askar. What a great interview. Man, I love hearing the origin stories and why they became some of the baddest ass mothers in the world. Askar, undefeated bantamweight. Stated by defeating Albert Martinez at Island Fight 60. Follow my main man, Askar, AK_MMA94. I'm pretty sure the 94 is for the year he was born, maybe the wins. I don't know. He is racking up a ton of wins. So, like I said, make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Show him the love. Guys, talking about showing love, show our sponsor some love. Warhammer Fightwear. I say it every episode. They're family to us. They have some of the best gear in MMA. I'm talking about that G.I. Joe inspired tee. Love it. Check them out at warhammerfightwear.com. Or on Amazon. Just put in Warhammer Fightwear. They got great leggings for the girls. They even got kids stuff. They got gloves, hats, everything in between. Warhammer Fightwear. Also, check out myfightshirt.com. Some of the best MMA fighters in the world have their own walkout tees on myfightshirt.com. So make sure you give them some love. Like their Facebook page at myfightshirt on Facebook. All right, guys, that was it. Askar. We appreciate his time. Island Fight 60 is officially in the books. We're already looking ahead. Island Fight 61, November 9th, Orange Beach, Alabama. It will be bananas. Fight Bananas will be in the building. I can't wait. There's already 3 fight announcements for that. Impa's on the card. I can't wait in the co-main event. How about Zombie Hill, Tyler Zombie Hill versus James Freeman? Rance Jones Jr. versus Chase Gamble. That's 3 fights in the main event. It's bananas. I can't wait. We'll break the news probably in the upcoming 2-3 days. We can't say it yet. We got to dot the I's and cross the T's. Guys, we appreciate your time. Have a great day. Stay blessed and go bananas.